nerds, what's up? Today's video is going to be all about the recommended fall time, cozy time, nostalgic time of the year recommendations. So let's just get right on into this. I don't know about you guys, but whenever it hits November and December, I start wanting to read all of my favorite books. So some of these are books that I haven't reread yet. Some of them are books that I've reread many a time. And so they're just kind of a mix of those two things. I want to start off with the most obvious one because we all know it's coming. But this time of year always makes me want to pick up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone specifically, and then I usually end up continuing reading these. Last year I listened to them on audiobook by Jim Dale for the first time, and this year I think I'm going to read them via audiobook by, I think it's Stephen Fry, and see how I like those. But this time of year just always makes me want to go back to Hogwarts, so that's probably gonna be a thing on my TBR next month. And yeah, I have yet to read these illustrated editions. Like, I really need to because they're so cool. I flipped through them a few times and I have the first three. I don't have the fourth one yet. I think the fourth one came out last year, but like, look at that. That's fluffy. So amazing. Nostalgic. I mean, are we surprised? Probably not. The next book that I want to talk about, I haven't reread in the past before, but I would like to, and it is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. When I read this book, it was so heartwarming and adorable and like feel good. Like, you know those feel good movies? This was a feel good book. Like, it's about this kid named August who has a facial deformity and just going through elementary school with a facial deformity, and like how his family reacts and how like kids are sometimes really mean and just emotions. The next one is also an embarrassing one, and I've read it multiple times. It's big in the world, but really not a good book. But it is Twilight. This time of year makes me nostalgic, which makes me want to read books that were my favorite in younger ages, and this was one of them. And I know that some people like have reread this book having grown up, and they reread it and then they're like, wow, it's horrible. And like, for me, it's like, yeah, obviously it's not good, but I still have so much strong emotional feelings of like attachment to it that I still like rereading them sometimes. The next one is a book that I relatively recently read about maybe a year or two ago, and I haven't reread it, but it is called The Color Project by Sierra Abrams, and this is a self-published book, I believe. And this is a book about a girl named Bernice Aurora Westcott, who has one thing she doesn't want anyone to know: her name. That is until B meets Levi, the local golden boy who runs a charity organization called The Color Project. And basically it's a romance, and it's so freaking cute. And it has a career path that I've never seen before in a book. And she starts doing flower arrangement designs. Like, so cool. The way that it was described and everything was so fascinating, and it's so cute. The next series I have here, I have not reread them, but I have continued with the series with their new like additions, continuation, whatever. And it is the Selection series. I talked about this in my fall time cozy tag, but like, something about this series is just so cute and fluffy and adorable. The rest of these books, I haven't reread any of them, but they all made me feel really good and cozy when I read them. And the next one is Moxie by Jennifer Mathieu, and this one is all about women power and feminism and fighting back that patriarchy, and it just made me want to show off my tattoo when I was reading it, and I was so good and it makes me so empowered, and I don't know why that exactly reaches to the cozy levels in my body, but like it does. I don't know how, but it does. Next one I have here is a memoir, which I don't have any other ones of this type on here, but it is Tyler Oakley's Binge. And like I said, this is a memoir. It's Tyler Oakley's memoir. He's a YouTuber. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up. He's really funny. Although watch his old stuff, not his new stuff, but that's fine. I listened to the audiobook of this, and just a lot of times like listening to memoirs, especially in audio format where they narrate their own stories, is really just like heartwarming and heart-wrenching, because they'll talk about some of the shit that they've gone through in their past, and it's so like inspiring to hear sometimes their stuff and then like listening to how they got through it and stuff, and this one was so good. Next two I also talked in my fall time cozy tag, so I'm sorry if you watched that video and now I'm being repetitive, but my next two are these two, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I also would say any of Rainbow Rowell's books, and Simon vs. the Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. These are so good. They just make my heart all aflutter, and they're cute, and I just want to hug and pinch all of the characters' cheeks. The next one that I have here is a new-ish read, and it is When Katie Met Cassie by Camille Perry, and this is an adult romance, and I just found it cute and adorable and fluffy, and it's a lesbian romance, so made it even better. And the last one that I have here is Volition by Lily Parody, and I think the reason I picked this one, and actually I would probably pick Ignite by Lily Parody as well, for different reasons. Ignite is kind of nostalgic or cozy feeling to me, because in the book, when I read it, I was in college, and the character is about 21 in the book, I think, and her parents die, and she is given the option to become the guardian of her two step siblings who are underage. And around the time that I was reading that book, I had also just been asked by my mom that should anything ever happen to her and my stepdad, would I be the guardian of my brothers. I was going through something similar at the same time as reading that book, so that is like a really emotional book for me. And then this one, I think I'm so much more attached to this one right this minute, because I'm planning my wedding, and in this book there is a wedding, and it's also a romance. It's kind of a dark romance, so that's not exactly my life, but I just really loved this book a whole lot. You follow dual perspective, and it's just really good. And it makes me think of one of my favorite videos that I've ever made on YouTube, which was the main character in this book's wedding video that it's like a traditional thing sometimes to make, like you film a video right before you get married so that your spouse can see it later, and it's part of like the wedding video. And so I made that for this main character, and it was really good in my opinion. I really liked making it. And so yeah, cozy times. These are some warm and cozy books for me, feelings, and some books I would recommend reading during this time of year. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you can always hit that little notification bell right next to it if you want to be notified every time I make a video. I usually make videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so I will see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye! I wish I could take all the things